me promised Masih lacks intellect, and one who calls me Masih ibn Maryam is a knave and a first-class liar. So looking at his writings, earlier writings, he believed in Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam. He believed that he will descend for a second time, and he made it clear that he was not the promised Masih, and one who called him the promised Masih was a liar. This was his early career. Then something went wrong. He first claimed to be Masihul Masih, a likeness of Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam. And he claimed this post for 7 years. After claiming this post for 7 years, something went wrong again. And he claimed to be the embodiment of Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam. He claimed to be the living Masih, the promised Masih himself. There's a slight problem here. The problem is, he also claimed to be Hazrat Maryam alayhi salam. Anybody, even a child in madrasa, 5-year-old child will be able to tell you, whether he's a Muslim or he's a Christian, he will be able to tell you that Mary was the mother of Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam, was the mother of Jesus. How is it possible for a man to be a male, then become a female, or become a mother, and then the child at the same time? Now he has to justify this. Listen to how he justifies this. And you can find this in Qadian, page 87-89. He writes, he, referring to God Almighty, naming Mary in the third part of Barahin Ahmadiyya. Barahin Ahmadiyya is his own work. Later, as is evident from Barahin Ahmadiyya, I was reared in the form of Mary for 2 years. Then my body was filled with the soul of Christ, just as the body of Mary was filled with Christ's soul, and in a metaphorical sense I became pregnant with the soul of Christ. At last, after a period of many months, I was metamorphosed from Mary into Christ by divine revelation, which has been recorded at the end of part 4 of Barahin Ahmadiyya. Hence, in this way I became the son of Mary. For those that haven't understood this garbage, basically means he said that I was married, for 2 years I was married, the mother of Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam. Then I became pregnant, and then from my own abdomen I came out as the son of Mary. Qadian, page 87-89. Now you can understand why I call him the clown. I mean, in the 20th century, how can we believe this? Slight problem. Because earlier we just read that he said, the prediction made in the hadith about the second coming of Messiah son of Mary is a prediction of the first order, which everyone has accepted unanimously. He said that these ahadith are matchless, they're authentic. Now what does he do with the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam now that he claimed to be Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam? Only one option is to play with the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Now for example, the hadith of Nawasim bin Sam'an, which can be found in Sahih Muslim, which states regarding Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam, فَيَنْزِلُ عِنْدَ الْمَنَارَةِ الْبَيْضَاءِ شَرْقِيَّ دَمَشْقٍ. This hadith of Rasulullah and the other hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam state that Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam is going to descend from the heavens. This is the belief of the Muslims. Now how does he go about playing with this hadith? Because he himself has acknowledged that these hadiths are authentic. He writes that where in the hadith it is mentioned descension, nuzul, it doesn't mean nuzul. It means that Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam will be born in Qadian. Okay, now the hadith says Dimashq, not Qadian. But Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam will descend near the white minaret in Damascus. Now how do we go about changing this word? He says that it doesn't refer to Dimashq as in Dimashq. Dimashq is referring to Qadian. Okay, fair enough. What about the Dajjal? The hadith mentions, the very same hadith mentions that Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam will descend and he will kill the Antichrist. What about this? He says it's not referring to the Dajjal. The Dajjal here means the Christians. And he goes on and on and on and on, playing with the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Now that he's claimed the birth of Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam, it was necessary that his character and personality be superior than Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam, be higher than Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam. Now how does he go about doing this? He goes about doing this by insulting Prophet Jesus, Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam. Let me quote a few passages what is written. You can find it in Zamina Anjane Akam Qadian 1922 page 6. He writes, Christians have attributed a large number of miracles to him, referring to Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam, Jesus, but the fact is that he could perform no miracle. Ever since the day he abused those who demanded miracles from him and called them scoundrels and, he uses the B word here, the respectable and noble people parted with him, for they do not want to become scoundrels and by asking him to produce miracles. What does the Quran say? أَنِّي أَخْلُقُ لَكُمْ مِنَ الطِّينِ كَعِينَةِ الطَّيْرِ. But he would take clay, make a figure of a bird, he would blow, and with the will of Allah it would become alive and fly. And all the other miracles which I related earlier. So this totally goes against the Muslim belief, even the Christian belief. Another extract. He writes, it appears from the Gospel of Matthew that he was hard of understanding and had a coarse brain. He did not consider epilepsy to be a disease, just like the illiterate women and commoners. Rather he thought it was the spell of a jinn. Of course he was in the habit of using filthy and abusive language. Now from this extract it is apparent that he is accusing Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam of two things. Hard of understanding and had a coarse brain. Basically he's accusing Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam of having defects. And the second thing he's accusing is in the habit of using filthy and abusive language. Is accusing Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam of using filthy and abusive language. Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam, just like every other prophet, was free from these allegations made against him. Just like every other prophet, his character was sublime. And Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam did not come here to teach people to use filthy and abusive language. He came here to stop people from doing this. As for the Quran himself, he was a master in using abusive language, and as for his defects were uncountable. Let us see what he himself has written about what the things that he was suffering from. He was suffering from impotence. He writes, Maktubat Ahmadiyya, volume 5, page 14. This decrepit is suffering from weakness of brain. Basically means he has no head on his shoulder. He himself is saying this. For a long time after I got married, I used to think that I'm impotent. So two things, no head on the shoulder. Leave it to that. Tiriyat al-Qulub, page 35-36, by Mirza Ghulam Ahmed Qadian himself. He writes, at the time of marriage, my heart and brain were very weak, and I was suffering from many diseases. Amongst them, diabetes, headache, dizziness, have been with me for a long time. Because of these, I have bitterness, sadness of the heart, and hence absence of sexual power. We have a few more here. Maktubat Ahmadiyya, volume 5, number 2. Writing to Hakim Nuruddin, Mirza says, but I felt great improvement with your medicines. Few diseases like lethargy and gastric acidity have been cured by it. I had one very serious problem. Not one for the masjid. Nuzul al-Masih, page 2066, footnote by Mirza Ghulam Ahmed Qadiani. Revelation was sent to me regarding marriage. At that time my heart and brain and body were very weak. Apart from diabetes, dizziness in the head and sadness of heart, I was